390 Wagon Master here. Okay, today in this video, we're going to answer a viewer's question, and it was Alpha 011, I believe, that asked, how do I get my President Washington to split frequency? So I'm going to assume that he would like to use his radio on the 10-meter repeaters. So let's get started. Okay, one important thing we need to do before we start on this is we need to have a common CT-CSS tone chart and the 10-meter repeater directory for North America. These are very important. Also, don't forget the user manual for the President Radio, because there's kind of a learning curve here, and this stuff helps you out. First of all, you need to know where to go and then how to utilize the repeaters. All right, let's get started. Okay, so now that you have that information, we are going to go to one of my favorite repeaters. Now, first of all, in the 10-meter repeater range, or the range of frequencies, that usually goes from 29610 to like 29700, and I think maybe there is a 710 repeater. I can't remember, but anyway, nothing that I've ever accessed. So two of my favorite repeater frequencies are 29620 and 29640. Living here in Salt Lake City, we utilize the East Coast repeaters. There's, geez, like, I don't know, you'll see on the chart, there's like 25 or 30 repeaters on the 620, and a bunch of repeaters, probably about the same amount of number on 640. But the difference is the tone encoding that it takes to access that repeater. And second thing, not all these repeaters are functional. Some of these guys turn these things on and off whenever they want, and maybe some of these stations are now defunct that are on that list. But anyway, again, the 10-meter repeater directory for North America is what you need in hand. So we're going to first access the 29640 repeater. That is an open repeater, and you don't need any tone encoding, so that is the perfect repeater to learn how to do this on. And then after that, we will go to a tone encoded repeater. All right. By the way, I have no conditions in, so we're on a dummy load. We're just showing the basic setup, okay? So I'm not going to show the actual usage of the repeater because I can't hit them today, okay? They're dependent on DX, unless you live locally or near a repeater. Okay, so I am currently on channel 38. We're in the A band. I usually have this marked CB, but I reset this radio a while ago, so I didn't have anything pre-set up. I didn't want to skip any steps. So we're going at this like it's a fresh start. So one thing I did, because I always forget this, I put the unit in FM mode. Okay, so we're going to find, let's see, our target frequency is 29640, so we're going to get as close to that as we can, and I'll show you what I mean here. We're going to hit band. We're going to shuffle through our bands, and I believe it was band I that got me close to it. All right, we'll time it out. Also, when you hear me say I'm going to hit the PTT, or we're just going to punch the PTT, I'm doing this. I'm just going to hit the microphone real quick to get us out of the program function mode. Otherwise, we're going to waste time with 20-second intervals. All right, so we are now on 29635. And this radio in channel selector mode, because that's what we're all familiar with, will only let us go in like 10 kc jumps, as you can see there. So we're on 635, right? And then 645. Well, we need 640. So we're going to go in and do the span setting here. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this. So when you go into span setting here, of course, this is in the menu, right? It's next to split. They made that pretty easy. So factory is off. That's the factory default. We're going to turn that to on. Okay, and we're going to hit the PTT. All right. So basically what we've done now is we've turned this channel selector into a VFO, a rather crude VFO, but here it is. And as you can see, when I go here in the span setting, I go from 635 to 645. So we're going to want to change that. So we'll go back into here, and what we need to do is just momentarily push the channel selector button, And we're going to go right here. And that gets us to 29640. We'll just quick key it real quick. Okay, so now we are transmitting and receiving on 29640. So we're here. We're in between the fives, basically, as some people would say that. And now we got to set the radio up to transmit to the input side of this repeater. So the repeater outputs on 29640. That's what we're going to hear, but we need to do an input frequency. So what we need to do is most all North American repeaters that I know of have a negative transmit offset of 100 kcs. So that means every time we pick up the mic and key the radio, this radio will transmit on 29.540. We let go of the mic, it'll receive on 29640. That's how repeaters work. So we need to tell this radio to do the split frequency function. So we're going to push and hold channel selector. We're going to go into our menus. We're going to go over here to split. Now generally, in fact, this radio must not have reset all the way. But anyway, generally the factory default is off. So we're going to turn to the left for negative. If you turn to the right, you have this crude plus mark or plus sign here, and we want negative. We're going to, like I say, in America, they're always negative. So we're going to confirm that. Now we need to do 100 kcs, and I'm just going to tell you real quick. Let me PTT this. All right. So just because this can be confusing. All right. So we have 6,400, right? We're going to drop the last zero, so we're going to go 640. So we're going to go down 100 kcs. So we need to drop down to 540. So again, 100 kcs. So we've already confirmed that we want negative. So we're going to go and go up to here one more. We're going to go to 100. And I want to clear that 1 out in the thousandths place, just because this radio does that. Now, it wouldn't be a big deal if you're, what would that be, like 1,000 megacycles off or something like that. But anyway, that wouldn't be a big deal. You're not going to really see that. We'll quick key to get out of that. Okay, so now we have the radio set up to where we're receiving on 640. We're going to transmit 100 down. We'll confirm that. We're almost there. So now we need to tell the radio that we want to go into split mode, because right now as we key the radio, again, we're outputting on a dummy load, so we're not interfering with the outside world. Right now we're just basically transmitting on 640. Okay, so we're going to tell the radio we need to go into split mode, and here's how you do it. And it's kind of a weird thing to do, but we're going to hit function and then NRC. All right, and it would have been nice if they had like a little sign over here somewhere that would tell you split, but anyway, that's all right. Anyway, so the noise reduction circuitry button will be our split button. So we're going to momentarily hit function and then NRC. It confirms with split on. We'll let that time out. Now the radio is showing that we are going to receive 29640. We're going to transmit on 29540. There we go. And you can actually see, because we're 100 down, we're 10 channels down here by channel selector lingo. So there we are. We're transmitting on 29540. Okay, great. Now we can access that repeater. We can utilize that repeater. And again, that is an open repeater. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the 29620 repeater and throw in a PL tone. And that PL tone is 146.2. Let's get started. Okay, you may be asking me, how do I know that it's 146.2? Because when we look at our chart, we'll see that the 29620 repeater is a negative offset. It's going to be 100 kcs at 146.2. All right, so the new repeater charts, and I think this is somewhat modern. I'm used to looking at it the old way when we just had to use the frequency, but these new radios, pretty much all of them use the abbreviated or the numerically numbered system here. So we're going to go over here, and 146.2 is number 23, all right, on our CTCSS codes. So let's set it up for that. First of all, we're going to actually just jump down to 29.620. And of course, I do not have that set up for repeater function, but there we are. The radio is still in the span mode. So 29.620, we need to tell it to split. Let's see if it kept track of our 100 kcs. And it did. Awesome. If you have not set that up, then go back to the beginning of this video and set that up. So we're just saving time here. So now basically what we're doing is we're transmitting on 520, we're receiving on 620, and yes, there are a ton of open repeaters technically that are on here, so you could just key up Kerchunk and see if you key one up. But if you want to aim for a specific one, especially one that's tone encoded, you're going to need your charts, and we will do that right now. Let's set up some tone encoding. See if I remember how to do this. Okay, we have our split, we have our span, and we want to come over here. I think we're taking the scenic route here. Come on. There we go. Nope. There we go. Code set. There we go. All right. Code set. Forget ID and DF. They actually are identical and different. Forget that. All right. That does not pertain to what we're doing here today. All right. So let's go back into it because the radio timed out. Okay. So we have all tones off. CTCSS is off. We're going to go over here to, come on, Mike. Nope, come on. It's been a while. All right, receive is off, so this is receive. We need no tone encoding to receive, but we do want to have tone encoding to transmit, so we're going to go with that. It's telling us, do we want CTCSS or DCS, which is a tone feature that I don't really know that we even use in America. Remember, this radio is set up for European market as well. And we'll see here that we have numbers 1. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I stayed in DCS. There we go. CTCSS. All right. All right. 1 through 38. And remember, if we look at our chart, the 146.2 is 23. So we'll go up here to 23. We're going to confirm it. We're going to key. And that's it. So now every time you key the radio, it will have the tone, and that will open up the repeater. And the repeater, the reason why they do these tones is because there are so many repeaters that share a frequency, and some of them could overlap, so you don't want to be using 2 or 3 repeaters at the same time. Also, it cuts back on bootleggers Kerchunking repeaters. All right, so anyway, I hope that helps. I wish I had some conditions today to where I could show you that this is working, but it does work, and you will find out. There's a learning curve to this. There's a little bit of trial and error, but once you master this radio, it's pretty easy to do, and it's really super fun. And a rare disclaimer. You don't hear disclaimers on this channel very often, but here it is. You must be a licensed amateur, so know your limitations and restrictions as to whatever ticket you have. Now, it's been a while for me, so a technician, if I remember correctly, cannot access 10-meter repeaters. You're going to need to be a general class or higher. Leave your comments and all that stuff down in the description box. Okay, Alpha 011, I hope this video helped you, and thanks for watching.